You know, the young lady that we all saw in the car crying because apparently she was the sexual tool for a white frat bro. It was sad to me. It really was. I'm not joking. This is not me insulting the young lady. But this is inevitable. As your society supposedly opens up socially, as more and more black women get to rub elbows with non-black men, as more and more black people move out into the suburbs and these diverse environments, as rageful, angry, bitter black women push and advocate for other black women to date, marry, and have children with non-black men. I'm specifically speaking about the swirler and divest black women, better yet. As more and more of that happen, you will see more and more of these. And eventually black women will transition from black men ain't ish to men ain't ish. Because of examples like this. That young lady's tears were real. Those were not crocodile tears. It ripped her to her core because the white man, in the instant that he did not look at her and he walked away from her in public as she was attempting to chastise him, that right there encapsulate everything between black women and white men relationships. I don't have to entertain you in your feelings. I'm not a black man. I don't have to listen to this. I was not raised in a gynocracy or a matriarchy. I don't have to listen to this. I don't have to look you in your eye to show you any type of respect. I don't have to entertain this conversation. I don't even have to be mad. I'm going to show you the difference between me and you in this society by completely ignoring you and then walking away. We can pretend like this society is open enough for black people to just walk around willy-nilly, mingling with white people and non-black people, and everything is fine and dandy. But when the ish hits the fan, when happy times turns to bad times, that's when we get to see what power looks like. What whiteness as compared to blackness looks like in this society. And there's a lot of black women, because of their rage and their anger and their resentment and their bitterness towards black men, whether it's justified or legitimate or not, forget what white and non-black men are in this particular society. They forget the power and the prestige and the accoutrement that comes with whiteness in this society. They forget. Or they do remember, but their anger and their resentment towards black men says, you know what, I'll just play the game. It doesn't matter. All right, then. You're going to have to come to terms with what that means the wrong way, the hard way. This young lady was crying her eyes out because the white man treated her like she was a toy and discarded her like children do with toys that they're done playing with. And then the young lady went back after the fact. And he reminded her again after the fact. This is going to happen. And all your swirler and divester advocates will be mum's the word, quiet as a church mouse. They will not touch this subject because they do not want to have a conversation about the difference between black men in their perceived bad behavior and white men in their bad behavior, and the difference between the two because of power in this society. And how black men will be chastised in this society for their wrongdoings, while white men, He's a young frat bro. He was just doing what he's supposed to do. He was sowing his royal oats. This young lady found out the hard way. And quite frankly, let's be honest, everybody already knows. Most likely, she's not done with white dudes. Not just white dudes exactly like this guy. As someone said, shout out to Artisan, she got kicked off of Mount Olympus. Right? And she's trying to climb back. Zeus kicked her off of Mount Olympus. That's all. Black people, and this is not specific to black women, black people are going to have to really come to terms with the fact that this society is still anti-black. And just because you have a couple of non-black friends and associates, maybe you're having sex with non-black people, does not mean you're safe. It doesn't mean you're all 100% accepted. There are tons of stories like this, young ladies. There are tons of stories of one black dude or one black girl being out with a bunch of non-black people, and that black man or that black woman is the one who ends up dead. They're the one who ends up arrested. They're the one who ends up harassed. They come back and tell us on social media, man, they were calling me all type of N-words. Or they allowed this one white friend to call me all type of N-words. Or they didn't know I understood Spanish and they were calling me all type of negative terms in Spanish. Black people, that doesn't mean that if you that doesn't mean you look at every non-black person suspiciously automatically. But you also can't be naive to the society you live in just because you have anger and rage towards your people. To the point, you have so much anger and rage to your people that you don't even call them your people. Right? Many black women are like, I'm black women first. I'm black. Okay, that sounds nice. That sounds nice. You're going to have to deal with the consequences of what that means. Same thing for black men. The society is still not as open as you would like black people. Even for those of you that live in the suburbs. Even for those of you that have legitimate white friends and non-black friends and associates. Because many of those black friends, non-black friends, excuse me, are perfectly okay with you until you find one of their siblings attractive. Then they let you know what they really think about you. Or their parents let you know what they really think about you. You can't escape your blackness just because you're in the suburbs now and you speak with the Valley Girl accent and you come off very non-threatening. Either black people rise together or they fall separately. Together. That's how that's going to go. So we can use this young lady as an avatar for larger conversations about black people and interracial relationships. Right? And is it really that empowering? How much of this is really about love and attraction? And how much of this is about low self-esteem? How much of this is about you hate what you see in the mirror, you hate your broad nose, you hate your dark skin, and you're not even around other black people? That's the crazy part. We also saw this with Ostefco. We have to have a conversation about black people that grow up in diverse environments or away from other black people that develop this same mentality that we blame black people, primarily black men, for. Can't claim colorism if there's no black men around to tell you you're, air quotes, dark and ugly. So, once again, This young lady cried her eyes out, and told us something that many of us suspected was going on anyway. She was just one of the few. How many of you ladies are legitimately attempting to swirl and you're finding yourselves in these same type of situations with these non-black men, where they use you and then just discard you? And unlike the black community, you can't even shame them. Nobody takes you seriously. And then you have to hold that because your pride won't let you admit to other black people that you allowed yourself to be used by this white dude, or by this Latino dude, or by this Asian dude. So you got to hold that in. Maybe one other person knows, your best friend, your homegirl, your bestie. You can't tell your parents. Like this young lady, she said her therapist doesn't understand. Yeah. Especially, let's say you have a white female therapist. She's definitely not going to understand what it is to be a black woman and be used as a sex toy for a white man. She's not going to understand the low self-esteem because of your broad nose and your dark skin and growing up in a white suburb. Maybe you should look for a different type of therapist. Maybe you should talk to black people about what it means to be black in this society. And I'm coming to a close. I'll end with this. For those of us that are immigrants, children of immigrants, or that are 2 and 3 generations into the suburbs, we got to reconnect with other black people in different environments. Because quite frankly, the environment that we find ourselves in oftentimes, for those of us that are black immigrants and that once we came to America, we were already in a non-black suburb, or those of us that are 2 and 3 generations into non-black suburbs, it has a bleaching effect on our mentality and our emotions. And it leaves you very vulnerable. And it causes you to be willfully ignorant and naive until something happens, either drastic in your life or drastic to black people, that reminds you, oh yeah, this is the wage of blackness. This is the cost. I forgot. And sometimes the I forgot won't be the worst thing in the world. The reminder, the Negro wake-up call, as we affectionately call it, right? Sometimes it's not the biggest slap in the face. But other times the Negro wake-up call is literally you waking up in the afterlife. Sometimes that Negro wake-up call costs you your life. This young lady escaped her Negro wake-up call, which I don't even think woke her up, with just a heartbreak. She could still turn it around. It looks like she's in her early 20s. She could still turn it around. That doesn't mean that she necessarily has to give up on dating non-black men. But understand the power dynamics between a black woman and a white frat bro, that she definitely has to come to terms with. So we'll end it there. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I was legitimately sad for the young lady. As was the elder BGS, we spoke about this. But the young lady she's going to have to come to terms with her position in this society, just being a black woman. Not because of anything she did individually. And that white young man, probably a white young man, position in this society. Not for anything he necessarily did for himself. And I'll end it right there. Once again, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. And I'll pause right there. Peace.